my name is Molly Simons. I'm a member of the Davidson Athletic Fund team. And I just wanted to start off by thanking you all for being here. We're really appreciative that you're on tonight to learn more about the program or hear some updates. I know there's a great PowerPoint in store for us tonight. This is set up as a meeting, so our chat and Q&A are enabled. So feel free as we go along to pop your questions in the Q&A or in the chat. We'll moderate those at the end. So again, feel free to use that functionality. And again, on behalf of the college and the athletic fund, just want to thank you. This isn't a true welcome to campus. I've got the campus in my background, and for those of you who aren't able to get back as often. But just want to thank you for being here. Thank you for your support of the program. If you ever have questions about ways to contribute to the team or support the goals of the team and help us succeed and kind of get to that next level and attain maintain our level of success, then feel free to reach out. Always happy to answer questions. But with that, I want to turn it over to the star of the show. JY is going to take us through these slides. And again, thank you all for being here tonight. Over to you.
I'm never the star of the show. I'm fortunate to get to hang out with a lot of stars. This is not necessarily my preferred place to be. We've never done one of these Zooms before. And I'm kind of sad I've got a PowerPoint up and I can't see all of the faces in the room, so to speak. But thank you for tuning in. I did prepare slides to try to keep me on track. I did not give myself a script so I could ramble. Forgive me if I do that. And because it's the first time that we've done this, I welcome feedback. I know I see there are a number of folks who have not been afraid to be honest with me in the past here tuned in. So I hope you will consider this permission to be honest about how we can make this better the next time that we do it. I've got the agenda that you can see sort of prepared in my slide deck. The recently completed season, a quick overview of some of the team's accomplishments. If you have Instagram, that will be familiar to many of you. And then a bit of a dive into some of the way that the staff and I think about program goals. The outlook is really kind of an update on recruiting and what next year looks like. And then challenges and opportunities and thank yous are all chances for me to encourage you to continue to be supportive of the team and to thank you for the support that you've offered. We truly can't do it without you. The last season was awesome. In the pool, we saw 176 lifetime best times. As we track numbers like this over the years, 176 is a healthy number. Lots of impressive performances from folks on the team. 14 improvements, changes to the women's top 10 performer lists that we post on the website. Just some context, these lists over time, the more that they are impacted by performances during a season, the harder they are to subsequently impact. They've gotten pretty impressive over the years, and so 14 is a good number. 23 on the men's side. The men had a lot of great swims this season. Both sides had a lot of great swims. So I'm going to keep stacking these boxes up as I go. Sort of records broken and podiums at the championship. The men kicked off Wednesday night with a 200 medley relay record. The next men's relay, the 800 free relay, also smashed the college record. One of the most exciting races of the meet. Dylan led that one off in the new A10 and Davidson record, 132.9 in the 200 freestyle, which is a pretty staggering swim. At the beginning of last season, the 23-24 season, the A10 record in the 200 freestyle was 135.8. And Dylan was the first swimmer to go under 133 this season. He has been a treat to watch and work with. The men broke the 400 medley relay record. Andrew broke the 200 breaststroke record again. He broke that record for the first. That was one of the older ones that Drew set back in 2012, I believe. Andrew broke that last year, lowered it this year. We've tried to begin keeping some freshman records, different class records, and Robbie, one of the first years on the men's side, nipped Fletcher's first year 200 butterfly record. Great competition throughout the season between those two. And we collected a bunch of podiums. That 8 free relay finished just off the gold medal in a super exciting race. L on Wednesday night took bronze in 1 meter diving. Dylan gold in the 500 free. On Friday evening, Ginny kicked us off with a bronze medal in the 200 free. Dylan won another gold in the 200. Anna grabbed a bronze medal in the 100 breaststroke. Annika finished the night with a gold medal on the 3 meter board. And Saturday, Dylan grabbed his third championship of the meet. Dylan, in this his third year. This is the first time that Dylan's won all three of his individual events at the championship. First time he wasn't Performer of the Year. First time he won all three events. And Jeremy was a bronze medalist in the two back to finish up the individual events. It's a really fun meet. The first team, so we don't talk a lot about this, but the way the A10 does it, anyone who is a champion is first team all A10 silver medalists or second team. So Dylan and Annika logged first team all A10 honors, and the rest of that silver medal winning 8 free relay, Mitch, Fletcher, and Matthew, second team all A10 this year. Just great swims overall. And when the end of year announcements were made, Greg also won Diving Coach of the Year, which is a great honor for him. And I think of these Coach of the Year awards really as sort of in many ways, it's kind of a team of the year. The women really won this award for Greg with their performances. They're outstanding at the meet. It's been really nice to see diving kind of come back to life and be a source of excitement for the program. Out of the pool, the performances were awesome. The men logged a 3.59 GPA during the first semester. The women's GPA first semester is a 3.82, which is just sort of astounding. I think that's the highest that it's been in my near 20 years here. If it's not the highest, it's it's right there. I would imagine Davidson doesn't sort of rank the teams, but in the social media posts the different coaches and teams, ours is the highest on campus, I think. We'll find out the Academy Awards next week. The A10 announced their all academic team. Annika and Gil received recognition for the second year in a row, joined by Liam and Ryan. It's great credit to them. The College Sports Communicators Association, as they sort of whittle through the ranks to create their academic All-American team, they named all district teams in swimming. Gil and Liam and Ryan were joined by Fletcher on that team. On the women's side, Anna Newman, Maggie McCabe, and Elle joined Annika. Convocation last week, Miles won the Dean Rusk Award in international studies. We love to see folks grab awards at convocation, academic awards on campus. Annika and Gil were recognized Phi Beta Kappa, I believe, in the fall, and again at convocation. And just last week, you may have seen that Annika did sort of progress in that academic All-America process, being named to the third team, which is a tremendous honor. We haven't had many folks recognized as academic All-Americans during their time here. She's been a superstar. We'll miss her. And maybe the coolest thing that we did during the season, or that the team did, the coaches were hardly involved. The swimming lesson program that had finally gotten off the ground. I think Bodie and Lauren and Hope had really spearheaded it before COVID, and then it sort of went away. It came back last year, and the team spent a few Saturdays this spring teaching community members how to swim, and it was awesome. It's just heartwarming to see them sharing their expertise and hopefully promoting a little bit more comfort and safety in the water for the next generation of swimmers. So. Moving along to program goals, the headings are all really the same. We want to see folks improve and break records and get on the podium and win awards and academic distinctions, and we want to continue to make a difference in the community. I might add to this goal for the program that we want for our alumni and community to be engaged. And so just like the alumni meet that we did in the fall was a terrific opportunity to see so many faces. Thank you all for logging in here tonight. I'm going to dive in a little bit to sort of how we think about, especially the in the pool and sort of on campus components of success for the program. sort of the how, is really about recruiting high potential students. And I was careful not to use words that focused on swimming or diving. We want, we certainly want to see potential in the pool, but we want to see potential as community members and in the classroom as well. Our job really, if we sort of get right down to it, is offering folks resources to be able to explore their potential and improve. And then all of the things I sort of brainstormed under creating a positive environment I think, ways of hopefully articulating what our culture and community offers to its members. Supportive aspirations and valuing and encouraging curiosity and appreciating differences, all great life lessons and characteristics for the folks on the team. I feel like I'm doing a lot of talking right now. As it relates to recruiting high potential students, we've got an impactful incoming class, and I'll tell you a little bit more about them in a moment. It feels funny. Next year will be my 20th here at Davidson, and to the notion that we're sort of finally firing on all cylinders is a little bit silly to say out loud, but I really feel like we are. The staff has Chris and Grace have done a terrific job casting a wide net with the swimmers. Greg has been in touch with divers. I don't feel like we've got recruits falling through the cracks. They're doing a great job of responding to emails and exploring potential. The incoming class is evidence of the great job that they're doing. And we've been able to take advantage of the staff's talents and the generosity of our community to provide resources and tools and gadgets and training opportunities to the team to see people improve. We started with that 176 best times list. At the end of the day, that's really what it's all about, is seeing people have a good time, enjoy their time on the team, get better at swimming, make a difference in the pool and in the community. And again, this positive environment stuff, it really just words around our culture. And anyone who's been on the team in the last 20 years knows that we've tried to offer ownership to the scholar athletes that are here. We appreciate their perspective when we're meeting recruits and potential additions. We've tried to prioritize values that align with success at Davidson and build on the foundation that many that all of you sort of helped to create and cultivate while you were here on campus. I take a moment to dig in a little bit, to use these first two to articulate kind of the way we measure recruiting success, and sort of vis-a-vis ultimate success on the team, and just also to kind of disclaim that the recruiting isn't the entirety of the equation, although it certainly starts. So when we're looking for high potential students, we try to keep track of the folks whose performance capacity is promising relative to peers on the way in. So I've got lists. It won't surprise anyone. I've got spreadsheets of top recruits. As an example, I've grabbed the women's 200 freestyle, and at a glance, you can see that the fastest incoming time ever was Shelby Stanley's 150.7. At the beginning of this year, Jess's 152.6 rounded out the list. Notably, Elise at number 9 went on to be our college record holder with a terrific improvement while she was here. This list of all-time top tens at the conclusion of the year only includes four student athletes who were team members who were ranked in the top 10 as incoming freshmen. We've been really blessed, and we're grateful that lots of folks have explored potential and improved, and sort of sort of the Steph Curry school of thought been kind of underrated on their way in the door and continued to get better. But certainly we want to see high potential students. We want to see performance capacity, and as a measure of recruiting success, if we pop up the list with the next class, we see 3 new additions. It's one of the more exciting events on that list, and I want to encourage you to focus on the shading convention that I've used. I'm going to pop up the whole list, and you'll be able to track the freshmen by looking for the folks who are highlighted. In a similar notion, we can pick a men's event. Dylan's are fun right now. He was the fastest miler on the way in the door. He's also improved at a tremendous level, and that 14:55 from last year almost got him to NCAA's. So, we do want to we are excited when recruits can impact these lists, and the mile is a good example of another event where we've got some hopefully high impact swimmers on the way in the door, and um, to build on some of the momentum that Chris's distance group has established in these last couple of years. So the women's class has 9 athletes, 7 swimmers, and 2 divers. And I won't give you a biography of all of them, but you can see on that list there's a good bit of paint covering a lot of events. We will focus on some of the holes in this next recruiting class, backstroke and distance freestyle. Certainly, but ideally the class will cover really all of the events. And you can see I've noted that the women's roster target will be 30 moving forward to help the department manage some of the Title IX concerns that athletic departments go through, and hopefully ensure some and sort of help with the safety and longevity of the program. The women's team will be a little bit bigger than the guys. We'll recruit typically 7 classes of 7 or 8. We had a small freshman class this year, so the incoming class will be a little bit bigger, and then we'll settle into probably a few 7s before we start to alternate 7s and 8s in the class. On the men's side, it's a bigger class as well. The roster target will be 24, but again, with a small freshman class, Chris and Grace kind of hitting their stride. We had a lot of impressive potential in folks who were eager to join, and so we took a slightly bigger class than we probably will be in the habit of. As you can see on this list, those 7 swimmers are potentially impactful if they're not a bunch of knuckleheads when they get here. We've got top incoming times in 5 different events across 3 athletes. I think all of them are on this list somewhere. It should be. We certainly lose 2 impactful classes with the men and the women, but we're pretty excited about the folks who will join us in the fall. And I'll sort of from here transition a little bit to, from the positive outlook for the future to some of the challenges that we face. And many of you have heard me talk about this before. And Davidson has the highest admission standards in the A10, and we wouldn't want it any other way. Historically, we've been at the lower end of the scholarship allotments. The numbers that I have are old, and so I didn't say that we are the lowest presently. Historically, we've been the lowest, and I'm not sure that that's changed. And we've been dependent on our community to help us pay the bills. Really, our budget is not one of the higher ones, and nor should it be. I think Davidson spends its money in the right places, and their priority is not necessarily the travel amenities for the swimming and diving team. It's right now building a new $100+ million library, or sort of renovating the library to the tune of $100+ million. I think our priorities are in the right place in the grand scheme of things. We are delighted that we don't have any roster issues, and as we approach the acceptance of the House settlement, we haven't had to anticipate cutting anyone or cut anyone from the roster like a lot of teams have, which is good. We feel like the roster numbers are in a good place and manageable. I'm personally selfishly happy that the COVID 5th years are over. That's a phenomena that was certainly fair to the athletes who were able to take advantage of a little payback for the challenge that COVID provided, but without a graduate school, felt like a disadvantage for Davidson. And so we are excited to race people our age again. I do worry about rising costs and paying the bills. We'll talk about that a little bit. The House settlement, maybe we can explore a little in our Q&A. It's sort of, there's a lot of ambiguity around what the NCAA might look like, and a lot of coaches and lots of folks in the swimming community who I think are real nervous about whether the extent to which swimming survives in a lot of athletic departments as money starts to get um, sort of redirected to paying quarterbacks and wide receivers and point guards and whatnot. There are rumors of a fifth year of eligibility across the board, and if that were to come to fruition, it would be like that COVID fifth year. I just, for an undergraduate focused institution that tends to graduate folks in 4 years, I don't see how that helps us. But there are others in the conference who probably would take advantage of that. And as the sort of velocity of transfers picks up, it's a challenging game for a school like Davidson to play. We've had a few impactful transfers over the years, but Davidson typically accepts in the neighborhood of 10 to 12 transfers, and so as a consistent team building mechanism, it would be hard to count on that. I'm going to share with you a little bit about what it costs to run the team in 2024. We spent a little over $100,000 on competitions, almost 50K on gear and suits and equipment, 11,000 plus on recruiting and operations. Some of that was hiring a new coach, and a little over $90,000 on training camp. All of those expenses have sort of increased as we go, plus some miscellaneous things that didn't get captured in those categories, about $264,000. This past year, we got that up to 280. A little bit more money on competitions, similar numbers for gear and suits and equipment. I was surprised to see a little less for recruiting. And maybe some of the bills from the spring weekends will come through. But I'll have to check the way that things are categorized. I think we've had a little more traffic from recruits, not less. Training camp, we almost got to the 100K mark. And in part because we had a flight canceled and a few extra days in Florida. It added about $13,000 to the trip. We've also, and I haven't sort of made reference to the locker room project except the first slide, but the team will move into a new locker room suite with a team room. We bought some furniture for the team room that wasn't in the project's proper budget, to the tune of about $10,000. So minus the unexpected 10K for the unexpected 13K for Florida and $10,000 for the team room, I feel like we were in a pretty good spot. But it and had done pretty well with our budget. And as I got to thinking about it, I realized that last year, all of those costs were incurred for teams with 55 athletes. We had 30 women and 25 men. This year, we had 25 women and 21 men. So, again, as we settle into our roster numbers, the women grow a little bit. Both teams will grow a little compared to this year. The spending per athlete went up a tick, owing to rising costs that challenge a program whose budget hasn't changed all that much over the years. It went up a little bit this year, as Davidson has tried to increase some of the resources available for women's sports. That 280 is a number a little over twice the size of the budget of the combined teams, and so certainly we remain dependent on all of your help. And so that brings me to opportunities to help. Always critical, or our support for the operating budget and training camp. Costs about $1,200 to feed the team a meal in Florida. And if anyone or if a class would like to pick up one of those meals, it's welcome, and we'll tell stories about you. Some of the nice to haves are scholarships and scholarship endowments, certainly. Some of the equipment and technology that we like to play with, like a few more power towers, and a company that's making new towers also sells some meters that automate the timing process so we can run more people through at once, which can help with logistics. Most of you on this call would love swim bridges. They are effectively, a company has made a nice, neat little product that floats perpendicular to the lane line so the coaches can move them around and make sure that you have to kick out a certain distance. I think they probably would be a real big favorite of the team if we had them. EOS Swim is in the news. That's a subscription product. We've actually got the paddles that use a bunch of fancy accelerometers to graph hand paths and quantify propulsive percentages from pull patterns, and the live replay on the TV costs about $900 a year. So we've always got things that we can that we can buy that will sort of enrich and augment our training environment. One thing I added sort of last minute, we'd also like to do some new banners in the pool. I think, I appreciate that when the college put up the old CCSA banners, they left us a lot of room for subsequent championship years. But now that we're not even in that conference, I think those should probably come down. Maybe a proper banner for each of those championship teams, and also maybe some names in the rafters for things like qualifying for NCAAs. I think we'd like to get some NCAA qualifier banners for Lindsay and Elise and Drew and hopefully Dylan and any other superstars that come along. So, how you can help? This is for you, Strass. I got a QR code. You can get on the website and make sure you choose athletics and one of the swimming and diving teams. Tax deductible donation. Also encourage classmates to give, and it doesn't have to be a lot. The team sending postcards from Florida has gotten to be a ton of fun. Katie Williams has come with us with Chris. It was a blast to listen to her tell stories about folks she was on the team with. It's fun to entertain questions about who people were as rooms go through the lists and send postcards. Even $1 gets on the list to get a postcard, and that engagement is alumni participation rates. I think it's really good for the administration and the college to know that people are plugged in. It's a great way to indicate that our alumni are engaged. That's protective in the grand scheme of things for programs. So that's a lot out of me. Can I answer any questions? Can I take this down so I can see people? Yeah. Is it quiet because everyone's muted or asleep?
I haven't seen any questions pop up. And again, this is a meeting, so you're free to jump off of mute, interact. Obviously the community is what makes us so special. So I encourage folks to chime in and ask questions or just share any comments.
I love seeing faces. Jay, I got Bennett in the presentation.
Hey, JY, great job. Good to see you. Yeah, thank you for the little shout out for B. He's super excited. We're super excited as a family to get back down to Davidson, spend some time with you guys. And yeah, very, very cool.
Hey, nice shirt,
Popular
Jay.
majors these days.
I dress for the occasion. Is that old school though? I don't know if it's like current or not. We'll have to get some new gear.
Well, we've got folks who'll be happy to sell you some.
Okay, great. I can't wait.
So, Robert, I think the majors are largely the same, and we've got a good healthy number of folks on the team who are STEM majors and pre-med. There's been an uptick in interest in computer science and the new computer science department on campus. We've still got econ majors and political science is popular on campus. It's still a strength at Davidson. I don't know that there's one major that sort of wins the day, so to speak. They're pretty well pretty well diversified, I think.
We're getting a few questions about like a new scoreboard and going into more detail about the longer term needs of the program. If
Yeah,
you could
and I
elaborate on
didn't.
that.
So the timing system and scoreboard. So it's been. I'm hesitant to call it a pipe dream. I mean, a popular topic in swimming right now is how to make meets more spectator friendly, and more attractive for the community to be involved in. An easy, quick way. Yeah, an easy way to make a swim meet more interesting, is to be able to know who's swimming, and so the video boards with names, go a long way towards accomplishing that, and sort of fun graphics and being able to get some of the now all the social media posts include the team team members dancing and posing and whatnot, and being able to throw that up after wins. Just it's great for the environment. It meets the challenge has always been the cost of the board. I mean, those things are 100K or more, and we've always first and foremost, and we continue to feel like we need to prioritize fundraising for training trip and paying the bills. The timing system at the pool presently is, it's been here almost as long as I have. I think we had the old Colorado system for a few years before installing this Daktronics system. We learned recently that Daktronics will no longer, they're getting out of the swimming business. They're still supporting existing systems. So if we have a touchpad go bad, we can still order one. Or if we have a timing module go bad, we can still order one. But eventually, I imagine that's going to stop. And I would guess that the system right now is approaching the end of its usable life anyway. This timing system was installed as a capital project at the college. I will request that we begin to put in for a new timing system. And if we have a capital project for the timing system that is approved, it likely will include a numeric scoreboard, kind of like the one that's here. And I'm sure that there's a cost associated with that. I would love for us to be in a position to take that cost and lateral it over to a fund that exists to be able to upgrade the board at the time that a new timing system goes in. I don't know if that'll be in 2 years or 5 years, but it would be nice to squirrel some money away so that we could be responsive when it happens and get a video board up. And a video board would be cool for everyone. We'd be able to cast some of the underwater cameras up onto the board. I mean, we've even talking with teams that have those boards in their facilities. If Davidson soccer is playing in the NCAA tournament, we can throw the board up during practice and be able to cheer for classmates. It's pretty cool, the resolution and what they can do. We probably won't watch Netflix during practice, but we probably do have folks on the team who would ask. Did that answer the question?
We got one in the Q&A feature about swimming against UNC Wilmington, and perhaps a kind of a series that was there for a while but has since kind of gone away, and just asking whether there's any chance of having UNCW back on the schedule.
There is a chance. So the schedule is always sort of a work in progress. Wilmington, effectively, Bobby had scheduled some other away meets and felt like his budget was kind of eaten up, and so we've exchanged messages about trying to set it back up this year. So we will hopefully get Wilmington back on the schedule this year or next. We've also, we're eager. We reached out. There are some other schools, especially near some of the population on the team, that we'd like to try to get back on the schedule as well. And as people's budgets fluctuate, some of the hosts of teams that we see come and go. But Georgetown will hire a new coach, and if their approach to scheduling is a little different than Jack's was, then maybe we could get back to DC. I know based on a recent conversation that Duke doesn't have room for us next year, but he was open to the notion of the following year. If we ask a little bit earlier, really. So we're hoping to maybe be able to to get to Durham. I intend to. I haven't reached out, but there are some other teams that would be great matchups for us where there's some siblings on our team. That's always been fun when we had the Youngers and the Williamses on the William and Mary teams. So we try to factor all of that into scheduling, but I think there's a chance that Wilmington comes back. Yeah.
All right, I'm hopping back
And we'll
into
definitely have a party.
to the chat questions. A question about any systems for career connections with alumni.
What was that?
If there are systems for career connections with alumni.
Um, so as I understand it, there are things like, is it called Wildcat? Is it Connect? Wildcats Connect?
Davidson Connect.
Davidson Connect,
Mhm.
they're through the Career Center. If there are people who have an appetite for mentoring members of the team, I would love for you all to reach out to me and let me know that so that I can try to make some of those connections. In cases that I am aware of an interest on the team, and that someone on the team has an interest in something that that's someone who I've coached and am in touch with is doing. Well, we try to make those introductions pretty readily. I'm okay at that. Eleanor is a superstar, and so she's been really good for the folks on the team to meet. Sort of plug into to the alumni base. So I'd be happy to help with that if there's an appetite for mentoring folks. I think, and I probably should have put that on the slide. It's another way that you can sort of, I mean, help sort of reinforce the vibrancy of our community. It's awesome. We appreciate it.
And then kind of back to the current team and the roster that you have, a question about the geographic distribution of the current team.
Um, I think historically the geographic distribution of the team has mostly mirrored the college. I think we're, a little bit more concentrated in the Carolinas and Georgia and Virginia, and then, it's sort of, we try to cast a wide net. And there is a little bit more maybe awareness for Davidson as you get closer. But we're excited. I think the 17 incomers represent a pretty good distribution of locations. I mean, from California to Florida. I'm trying to think if how far up the East Coast that we've gotten. We've got Nashville, we got Maryland. The goal certainly is to cover the entirety of the 50 states, and even to tap into internationals. We one of our senior captains, Jeremy Kemp, who's been awesome. Jeremy's British and he grew up in Singapore, and before him, Jules is from South Africa. I mean, the perspective that internationals bring is, I think, really enriching for their teammates too.
And then we have a few comments about pricing on boards and how that can change even from when you get initial quotes. But another follow-up question about the boards and the timing system was whether it would make live streaming easier.
Wow. So I think live streaming is a slightly different question, and we actually we've been having conversations about live streaming for approaching 6 years, and it seems to me that the technology that would make for a satisfying product for alumni and families is available, and it's not that expensive. But creating buy-in for implementing it here at the college has been a challenge on this end. So maybe the folks who are interested in engaging in a conversation offline, we could talk about the productive targets for a letter writing campaign, about the value of a live stream. It would be great, and I don't think it would be challenging to manage, and I'll probably get in trouble for what I've shared already. But it's a project that we've already put aside a little bit of money for, and I'm frustrated that it's not already executed.
Right, we've got some offers to host those parties when you need them. But the next question we have is about what does the typical practice schedule look like in season?
Our in-season practice schedule is 9 sessions, 9 training sessions a week for everyone. A component of at least 2 of those sessions is a lift this year. The team lifted in an organized way 3 times a week. We're not quite sure what the weight room hours will look like next year, and sort of, we'll sit down as a staff and brainstorm what we liked about going 3. And my instinct right now, I think, I lean towards towards making a third lift for folks optional, the way it's historically been. It's back in the pool a little bit. Um, the mornings. I mean, gosh, if apart from the COVID year, if you've been here. In the last 20 years, the schedule is pretty similar: 6 or 7:30 in the morning. Typically 2:30 or 4:30, maybe 3 o'clock or 4:30, depending upon how long we'll go in the afternoons. All 5 afternoons of the week, and then Saturday morning at some start time that'll probably be identified before people leave on Friday, much to the chagrin of all the planners on the team. But the the beauty of our schedule is that folks can always take any classes that they want. We can work around any academic calendar, and we've been as accommodating and deferential to people's course loads as we can be. Hopefully helping our now 5 college valedictorians to some of the successes that they've enjoyed.
All right, our next question is really kind of just for you, as like the team aside, what was a happy highlight or memory from this academic year? And the suggestion was whether that was keeping your sanity as a working dad. But yeah, so a happy highlight or memory from the academic year for you.
Gosh, there were, it's the the best part of this job, and it sounds cliche to say it, but the best part is seeing all of you together happy, the alumni together happy, even the parents together happy. I think, the most recent sort of, so last weekend, Patrick, when did you get married? Last week? 2 weekends ago.
The 13th, yeah.
Shout out to Patrick and Rachel, newlyweds. Seeing his classmates having so much fun together at their wedding was awesome. There's a new highlight at home for me almost every day. I mean, Carter's starting to learn how to ride a bike, and Hattie's implementation of logic and negotiations to get out of responsibilities is super impressive for a 9-year-old. I think it's next level. And the team. I mean, I showed some of the pictures of the swimming lessons. Was really heartwarming. I mean, that 8 free relay at conference was one of the most exciting races that we've seen in years. We had a dual meet, and I shouted it out at the time with the team. But Grace, who's a first-year coach and has just done a great job and has been so curious and eager to learn, and is working so hard to do a good job for her group. And Ryan Shute had a great dual meet 200 breaststroke, and Grace was just crying on the side like she couldn't even handle like how excited she was for him. And all of those moments are just terrific. That's the good stuff.
This will elaborate a little bit more on the point that you just made about community and how important that is. So the next question just states that the current DCSD swimmers appear to be really involved in recruiting future student athletes. Is there a way that you would like the parent community to help potential recruits and their families feel more welcome? So whether it be home meet tailgates, Zooms, how can parents help in that regard?
Yeah. So the there are still. It seems like NCAA regulations around connecting prospective students with alumni and families. It seems like a lot of rules are kind of going out the window in the NCAA right now. It's sort of money and connections rule the day. I don't know that there's a lot that parents can do sort of orchestrated through the program to help with the recruiting process. I think, if you are aware of, or certainly all of you. I mean, I've seen the parents at all of our meets. I know how this works. You sort of build your own community in the stands at these adventures that are swim meets, and as you become aware of of talented students who are trending in the right direction as athletes and who might be a good fit for our community, then I think the best thing you can do that I appreciate is encouraging them to look at Davidson and to reach out if this could potentially be a good fit. Things like the tailgates are great for the for the and sort of camaraderie and enthusiasm that our parent group enjoys. And um, you know, I am. I don't know that when recruits are on campus visiting, we typically don't overlap recruiting weekends with meet weekends. So I don't know that we want to. I don't know that it always would be sort of a neat responsibility to try to lateral. Our parents do. Y'all are awesome. You kind of do enough. I mean, the energy that you bring and the support that you offer to the team and the community that you've built has been outstanding. If we think of ways that you can help, or if the NCAA changes rules, and it makes sense to start connecting parent groups, we'll try to take advantage of it. But um, I, I should probably just say thank you for all that you already do. It's very generous.
And then we have another scheduling question. This one is whether the team will be heading back to Bucknell for midseason.
That's the plan right now, and I'm not sure if that came from a parent or it's just someone who enjoys bus rides, but the college schedule next year, Bucknell will be before Thanksgiving, and the college won't have class that whole week. So like this year, the students will be able to split with families or jump on a plane in Pennsylvania if it works. So, I really like the peer group at that meet is good for us. We get to see some A10 competition. We get a lot of second swims. I think we won it one year. It's generally we're sort of it works well for us. The bus ride is long, but in its own sort of perverse way, it's a wonderful memory for everyone on the team. So I think the plan now is to go back.
Our next question is about swag, and it has a lot of reactions to this question of excitement. But where folks can buy DCSD specific gear so they can advertise. And this is from Heidi. She says she'd love to get a DCSD swim cap.
Yeah, well, the swim caps come from us. I can help you with that. And then the rest of the gear, I think one of the emails this year included a link to the parent store. I think that we can do and should do a better job of trying to get word out that annually the parent group continues to sponsor an apparel store. It's a fundraiser for the team, but really it's a chance for the parents to get their coordination on when it comes to gear at meets. And I think there were some alumni who clicked the link and ordered this year. We need to do a better job of advertising that.
Next question is whether SwimMac is still training out of the pool.
Yeah, there were little kids out there right before this Zoom. They're probably gone by now, but they make a lot of noise here at 7:30 at night.
And I'm checking the Q&A feature too. I think that's gotten us through all of the questions.
Awesome.
Yeah, I believe that got us through.
I am. This is. I'm grateful in a way, kind of like humbled and flattered that so many people would jump in to listen to me ramble about swimming and the team. So thank you for being here, and I really sincerely welcome feedback, because if we do more of these, and and I'd like to think that if it connects people with the team, that we might, knowing what is sort of interesting and compelling. I mean, like what y'all would like to know, and sort of what Kurt and I could pull back to make people feel more connected to the way we operate, or even empower people to be creative in the suggestions that they make or the ways that they sort of offer help. I want to be able to do that. So please let me, Zoom with all these cameras turned off. I have no idea if I'm crushing it or blowing it right now. So I would love feedback. But thank you all for being here and for all you do for the team.
Thanks, everybody.
I love
Thanks,
seeing the
John.
Coopers in that little box
Good
right
job,
there.
man. Thank you.
All right, that's the end of the programming. If anybody wants to stay on and say hi, feel free to. But that wraps up our official programming. Thanks again, everybody.
Thanks, y'all.